Greetings, WHAP Warriors. Brett Anderson here today for workshop number 2 of the document-based question or DBQ response. And again, this would normally be a 1, 2, 3 class period exercise, but alas, because of hybrid, because we need to improvise, adapt, and overcome, I'm boiling this lesson down into a 15-minute chunk. We can either watch in class, you can watch at home, you can pause and rewatch at your leisure. So let's talk the document-based question response. You will be given a prompt here momentarily, and you will be asked to do a few things. Number 1, following this formula of success, you will contextualize in the introductory paragraph. You will situate this prompt within the broader historical context by describing the larger global events and processes going on at the time. We've done this before. You want to be specific. You want to use locations and events to help you describe the context, the history going on, and then link it back to your prompt. Next, you will want to author your thesis. And I use the tried and true formula, although X, AB, therefore Y. And you really want to put your time into the thesis. And once you craft your thesis, as I've said, the essay writes itself. And it's a great backbone for your DBQ or your LEQ as we've done before. And we'll break this down in just a little bit more depth here in a moment. Then in the first body paragraph, you will use point A from your thesis as the first body paragraph topic sentence. Is it redundant? Yes, but we're not here for flowery prose. We're here to write a historical document-based response, and you will use that first body paragraph topic sentence, and then you will use 3 documents of the documents that you have spent time reading to support that thesis point. All right, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment. Then you will source each document. You will provide either the intended audience, I, the purpose, P, or point of view, P, of that document. Now, I know that before, each time we analyze or source a primary source, we always do the I, the P, and the P, we IP. And in the DBQ, all you need to do is provide one of those, the I, the P, or the P. Now, if you want to include all of them and you have the luxury of time, go right ahead as insurance, but just know all you need to do is provide one of those. Then explain how this document supports your thesis point A. Body paragraph B. You will use your second body paragraph, will use point B as your topic sentence, and then you will use 3 more documents to support that particular thesis point. Again, you will source each document that you have used, providing either the I, the P, or the P. Or again, if you have the luxury of time, all of them, but you only need to include one of them for each document. Then explain how those documents support your thesis point B. This is the meat and potatoes of the document. Body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, using the documents to support your thesis points, sourcing them, and then linking them back to your topic sentence is the heart of the DBQ. Then your third body paragraph is the evidence beyond the documents. The evidence beyond the documents is when you drop the bucket into your deep well of historical knowledge and pull it back up. You're going to need to use your terms. You're going to need to be specific in using your evidence to support your thesis that is not in the documents at hand right in front of you. So this is where knowing history is going to help you incredibly. Use specific evidence, as I've said many, many, many times. And then finally, and I'm not sure if you can see this because I think it's cut off, the conclusion, as we've said before, is restating your thesis in a new and different way. And again, if you're rushed for time, if there's something that you don't do, it would be your conclusion. Your conclusion, you're not going to get a point for. Your use of documents, your sourcing, your analysis and reasoning, your thesis, contextualization. Those are all point-getting elements to the DBQ and critical to your success. Let's talk a little bit more about these elements. So the prompt that you're going to be working with today and tomorrow is a fairly easy one. It is the period from 1750 to 1900 was marked by revolutions and rebellions, which led to the development of new nation states. Evaluate the extent to which the Atlantic revolutions fulfilled or betrayed the goals of those who made them. So the documents that you've taken a look at, from Patrick Henry's Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death speech to the Declaration of Independence, to the Bill of Rights, to the Declaration of the Rights of Man, to Maximilian Robespierre's speech, to Elizabeth Cady Stanton's Declaration of Sentiments, you are going to use those documents to support whatever claim and whatever thesis you procure from this evaluating the extent to which the Atlantic revolutions fulfilled or betrayed their goals. Now, what you're going to want to do first is think about the context. Provide the historical context and link it to the prompt. So ask yourself, what is going on during the period 1750 to 1900? And I always go with the rule of three, as you know. What are three big things going on during this time period? So now would be a time to stop this video, pause it. We'll pause it in class, and we're going to talk about and help each other contextualize for this particular prompt. Then, once you have provided the context, you will then begin crafting your thesis. And again, to break this down, the thesis is as such. Although X, A, B, therefore Y, where X is the strongest counter argument, A is your first defensible historical claim and subsequently the topic sentence of your first body paragraph. B is the second defensible historical claim and topic sentence of your second body paragraph, and Y is your position, your argument. And now we'll stop the video. If you're at home, you should stop it and take a moment to think about what would your thesis be looking at this particular prompt. Now let's take it one step further. Before you get started, let's revisit the documents here in a moment. We're going to revisit the documents. Think about the prompt and which direction you want to go with your thesis. So take a minute to collect yourself. Look back at the documents, which you should already have read. You should already have sourced. You should already have written down a quote that kind of characterizes the spirit of the document, and you should have summarized it in a sentence or two. So you should have an idea of which documents you can use to support which points. The documents will help you formulate a thesis and will subsequently help you support your thesis, which we'll do here in just a moment. Use this time to formulate your thesis and figure out which documents you will use and how you will use them. Now let's check out the DBQ template. Now before we do that, I do want to revisit these documents. Patrick Henry's speech, the Declaration of Independence, or at least excerpts of it, the Constitution, you have the Declaration of the Rights of Man, you have Maximilian Robespierre's speech during the Reign of Terror, you have Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Declaration of the Seneca Falls Convention, Declaration of Sentiments, you have Lincoln's second inaugural address. And down below, it says use the boxes to jot down about each document, important quote from each, and also it. So you should already either have one, notes in your journal about each one of these, or perhaps you printed this off and filled this out. So I'm assuming at this point that you have read these documents and you have a summary of these documents and how you can use them to formulate your thesis. Now would be a good time to stop this and think about what your thesis is going to be. Once you've done that, I do want to direct your attention to, and I will put a copy online for your digital library to have, and I will also provide for you a physical copy. This, my friends, is the DBQ template. And this is for you to use to easily author your first drafts of DBQs. Taking a look here, this is where you put your prompt, write your prompt in, so you always have it with you, write your name and hour, of course. Now here is the AP scoring. So you can see how this DBQ will be scored, at least this year. Last year on the AP test, because of COVID, it was a little bit different, but this year, as far as we know, it's back to this scoring where contextualization, you get 1 point. For your thesis, you get 1 point. For evidence, accurately using 6 documents, you get 2 points. 1 for 3 documents, 2 if you use 6. Evidence beyond the documents, 1. Hipping at least 3 documents or ipping at least 3 of the documents, 1 point. An analysis, which demonstrates your complex understanding, explaining how the documents relate to your thesis, is a point for a DBQ score of 7. Now, let's take a look at this DBQ template. Here's where you will put the contextualization. I know the boxes are small. Jot it down. Do your best. Background. What are the broader historical contents going on or things going on in the world and processes? Thesis. This is where you put your although X, A, B, therefore Y thesis. Body paragraph 1, topic sentence. Then I gave you a little space so you can practice which document are you going to use. Describe the document. How does it support your thesis? And then source the document, providing either the intended audience, purpose, or point of view. And then as you can see here, for body paragraph 1, you have spaces for 3 documents and for 3 sourcing analysis. Scrolling down, body paragraph 2, same thing. Here's where you put your body paragraph, topic sentence, B in your thesis. And there's 3 spaces for 3 documents. Describe how does this support your thesis, and then source the document. Very formulaic, I know. But it's going to help you in the long run to remember this formula when you go and you sit down and you're at the tail end of a 3.5-hour long AP World History exam. And to have this structure in place so that you can easily read the documents and to begin crafting your essay. Body paragraph 3 is evidence beyond the docs. Provide evidence, then explain and source to the best of your ability. I would be happy if you were just using specific historical terms, dates, events, people, places, trade goods, whatever relates to the particular prompt. And then finally, your conclusion, restating your thesis in a new and different way. So if you take a look, this is a very valuable template that we're going to use several times before you just write it on your own using your memory and the structure of the DBQ. So what I'd like you to do now is we're going to take a look back at that particular prompt, and we're going to begin crafting context, thesis, your body paragraphs, the documents that you're going to use, and sourcing those documents. And the prompt again is the period from 1750 to 1900 was marked with revolutions and rebellions, which led to the development of new nation states. Evaluate the extent to which the Atlantic revolutions fulfilled or betrayed the goals of those who made them. I tried to come up with a fairly easy topic. Some of you have a great deal of expertise and knowledge on this particular topic. We've now read it. We've watched a cultural supplement. We've note taken on it. And you should be ready to write this DBQ. We're going to do it in class and then follow it up with workshop number 3, which is peer evaluation and going through and assessing our own work. All right. Best of luck. Again, use this as a resource. I will check in with you now if we're in class, if we're at home. You can send me your questions or bring your crafted product to class for evaluation. Best of luck.